Yahushai wait, come to take the throne, to conquer world powers, bring Jacob home. I'm quarterbacking like Jake DeLone, like Mount Rushmore, I gotta face a stone.
All right, first and foremost, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. We're going to do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world calls Christ, Yahweh Shai, your brother Chief Priest, Al-Azhar Maloy, a.k.a. the Gorilla Hebrew. So let's start with Genesis 11 and 1, right? We're going to read 1 to 9 in Genesis, right? Because the term and the concept of Babylon, we're going to talk about where it comes from. Where the Bible at? We're going to talk about the term and the concept of Babylon, where it come from, etc. Right? So, let me see this. Okay. All right. Genesis 11. Let's start with Chris Carter. Go ahead.
Genesis 11 and 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
So everybody in the earth spoke one language. What was that language? Hebrew. What was that language called at this time? You said it was called what? What's paleo mean? I heard you say the word paleo. What's paleo mean? Ancient. It wasn't called ancient at that time. It's ancient now. It wasn't ancient then. It was modern. And then, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So who knows what it was called? Hassad, do you know what it was called?
Language Canaan.
Language of Canaan. Wow, I can't believe you messed that up. Incredible. I just knew that you knew that was a trick question. It didn't have a name because there was no other languages to differentiate it or have it distinct from, so there was no name. It's just people talked. They didn't call it anything because there was no concept of people saying anything else. Why did all people speak the same language? Because they all came from the same guy. So these are all cousins that have grown, but they all have managed to stay around each other and speak the same, right? At this point, right? So let's keep going. Go ahead.
And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
So they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there, right? So that's in the region modern day of Iraq, right? In the land of Shinar. Go ahead.
And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Right. So they wanted to build. They began to build in these areas, right? They had this grandiose idea in their head. We want to build up something, right? Same thing here in America. They came to this new land with this vision of building something, right? Keep reading.
And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven.
So let us build us a city. So they built a city called Babel, right? It was later called Babel. And they built a tower, right? Who could tell me what the tower is? Picture of it. Do we know? Who's been in Sicarii long enough? You should know, man. What is it? Even if you don't remember the exact name, what is it? What type of a structure is the Tower of Babel? Because we are always led to believe in Christianity that the Tower of Babel is like some just tall tower, and the reason why they wanted it was to reach to heaven, and they wanted to fight God, or they wanted to be able to avoid a flood. And that has nothing to do, and that's not anywhere in the Bible. That's nothing to do with what it is. I see some people got it in the chat, which is a ziggurat. That's what it is, a ziggurat, right? What is a ziggurat? It's a Assyrian Babylonian temple of worship. So I'm right? This is its Timonaki, and it's at its height, right? The Lord reduced it to stubble.
Do you think maybe it says, because you know it's like the steps, you think that's why it might say, thou shalt not come unto me by steps?
Well, it's not just that; it's all heathens
All right.
do it like that. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? Yeah, but I mean that's really where they get it from. They get it from Babel,
Yeah.
so that's a good point. This is a Timonaki now, like from this aerial. It's been knocked down, but this is that recreation of what it was at its height in its glory. So that's what the Tower of Babel is for those of y'all that were unaware. Go ahead.
It says, and they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower,
Mm-hmm.
whose top may reach unto heaven."
So they build this large ziggurat so they can worship there, right? Matter of fact, you know what? Watch this. Let's start in 10. You start in 10?
Mhm.
I want to go back. This is actually unrelated to the lesson, but I want to go into it. I don't care. Start at 10. Watch this.
Genesis 10 and 10.
We all can count in the room. Everybody can count, except for Jez over here. How far can he count to? Okay. Let's let everybody count along, right? He's getting ready to name some stuff. So let's count, because there's something we early on to this. I want to stir things up a little bit, stir the pot about a common misconception amongst the Hebrew Israelites. So let's read Genesis 10, start at 1, and let's all count together. Go ahead.
Genesis 10 and 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah:
Uh-huh.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Read on.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Read on.
The sons of Japheth: Gomer,
1. Hold on. Read slow. Gomer. 1. Read.
Magog,
2. Read.
Madai,
3. Read.
Javan,
4. Read.
Tubal,
5. Read.
Meshach,
6. Read.
and Tyrus.
7. Right? Keep reading.
And the sons of Gomer: Ashkenaz,
8. Read.
and Ripha,
9. Read.
and Togarmah.
10. Read.
And the sons of Javan: Elisha,
11. Read.
and Tarshish,
12. Read.
Kittim,
13. Read.
and Dodanim.
14. Read.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands.
The original peoples of Europe, known in antiquity as the Etruscans, the Minoans, etc. Right? How many is that? 14. Right? Next group. Let's go.
Divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations.
And
And the sons of Ham:
the sons of Ham. Read.
Cush,
1. Read.
Mizraim,
2. Read.
Phut,
3. Read.
Canaan.
4. Read.
And the sons of Cush:
Hold on now. So of course these are now tribes when we deal with this, with Mizraim, because we see our interaction with them, identifying them nationally as those,
Yeah.
right? Not, and these are the tribes of them, not how we dealt with, like Kittim is like its own thing, right? So right now, 14 plus 4 is what? 18. So we're already at 18 nations and we haven't got the Shem. So the concept where Hebrew Israelites say it's 18 nations it's wrong. There's more than 18 nations. We're at 18 and we're not even at Shem yet. This is just simple math. So stop going around with that 18 nation sign. Stop going around telling people it's only 18 nations. There's more than 18 nations. We're going to keep reading. Let's go.
It says, and the sons of Cush: Seba.
Don't worry about Cush. Let's skip to Shem.
Okay. Okay. Genesis chapter 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder.
Eber, what's the significance of Eber? That's where Hebrew comes from, because that's who continued to speak that language that everybody spoke, right? Go ahead.
The brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born.
Mm-hmm.
The children of Shem: Elam,
1. What is it like? 19. Go ahead.
Ashur,
20.
Arphaxad.
Arphaxad is where you get Eber, so he don't count as a nation, right? We're gonna count him in a second. Go ahead.
And Lud.
Lud did have a nation, right? What is that? 21. Go ahead.
Aram.
22. Go ahead.
And the children of Aram.
Well, yeah, those are tribes. So now, when we go down here to Eber, what nations came out of Eber? Who can tell me? Oh, you said who? Moab. 23. Go ahead. 24. 25. 26.
and all of those Abraham, like Median,
Ishmael,
Ishmael,
27,
Median,
and then the ones that came out of the rest of the ones that came out of Abraham, 28. 10 more nations than every Hebrew Israelite thinks there is, right? Because they never just simply read Genesis 10. I remember I read it and I said, how can anybody say this? Where are people getting this 18 nations thing from? There's a whole hell of a lot more names than that, right?
I think what they got it from is when they tried to identify who the people that they're familiar with today, and they just started
But even then, it still doesn't make sense, because you're not. It would make sense to read this and identify people with people you know versus vice versa, because even then they still have question marks. Admittedly, they don't know certain things. It's not one scripture. It's Genesis 10. Dable nations come from Genesis 10. I got 10 more nations in it than every Hebrew, I believe. Right? Problem. It's a problem. Right? Now, let's go back to Genesis 11 where we left off.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 5. And Yahweh came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded.
Right? Go ahead. So how does Yahweh come down to see anything? Precept. Prove it. Justin Bueno, we don't need to see what's in the Vatican vaults. I'm going to tell you what you need. You need the 80 books. You don't even need nothing else, bro.
So these are all the same nations that were on, during Adam's time.
Exactly. Same nations came back. Yes, sir. Most certainly. Xavier D, we're not presently taking questions. We're teaching on the topic, so please hold your questions till after the topic. We don't need none of that info, Justin Bueno. God gave us what we need right here. Keandre, I don't have one. Right? No, none of the horns in Daniel's prophecy were about the Vatican. The Vatican is referred to as the false prophet in Revelations. Other than that, there's not a direct reference to the Vatican that I've ever seen in prophecy. I could be wrong. Right? Got my soldier general. How about you, man? Got my precept? You got the precepts, Azad?
Yeah, I'll get this one. What's that? I think we'll be sure.
Deacon said, you hear me outside blapping my cannon? I hear you all the way from Seattle.
7 eyes of the Lord which run throughout all.
There you go. That's one.
Zechariah, because it says it a few times, Zechariah, but I'll just get this one. Zechariah 4:10. For who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel. With those 7, they are.
Remember small beginnings. Yahweh Shem Yahshua water to the brother, all praise the Most High. Go ahead.
They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth.
So when he come to see something, his eyes go to see it. Who are his eyes? The angels. So he's getting a report from the angels about what human beings are doing on the earth, right? He has angels going all around the earth, and they report back to him. That's how he operates. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Back. You should back in.
Back in Genesis.
Okay. Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. And Yahweh said, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language." And he
said, "Look, this is a unified group of people. We just read about all these nationalities. Look at them. They're together. They speak one language. Read."
And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined.
Now they're just going to do whatever they want. Right? And all this oneness. Right? Go ahead.
Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language.
Here's how we're going to throw a monkey wrench in this situation. Everybody's going to not be able to communicate with each other anymore. and that's going to start division. Rob Thorne, Yahweh Shemel Shabrakatah, or Rob Thom, Salakia. I'm going to go in there and divide these people because I don't want, the Most High does not want everybody to be together contrary to popular belief. He's never wanted that, right? Ever wanted that. You ever seen a rainbow before? Rainbow is every color is there separately, right? Now I heard of some racist white group that said that. We believe God created all colors, but he created them to be separate like a rainbow, right? Well, I don't necessarily disagree. T-Todd 30, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat, but it's deeper, of course, than the color thing. But he doesn't want everybody to be together. So he's adverse to this. So, but this is the first time we see Babylon. And literally, this is what gives the place the name Babylon is what we're reading about. So one of the ways you can identify a place with Babylon is the concept of togetherness, supersession of all racial identities and anything that can divide people. That concept, you can automatically identify that with Babylon. Automatically identify with something the Most High is adverse to. He does not want all people together. King Emmanuel, Yahweh Shem Yahweh, he does not want everybody together. That's something that the Most High, we're reading Genesis. We're reading the beginning of this book. From the beginning of this book, we see multiculturalism, cultural unity amongst all people that exist. And as soon as the Most High gets wind of it, no, that can't happen. We've got to bring a stop to this. This is madness, right? That's how the Most High feels about multiculturalism and oneness between all people. He's not with it, right? So if you're with it and you're propagating that and you're promoting that, you are of a Babylonian satanic ideology.
In the Christian church, they say that Christ, they'll utilize scriptures in the New Testament to say that basically what Christ came to do was to get rid of the beef between the Jews and the Gentiles and make us all one people. Why couldn't we just do that right here in Genesis?
And then there's just no need for Jesus to even come 1,000 years later, because then everybody's already got it, right? It's so crazy. I'm in Binyamin. So it's like, and they want this multi-ethnic thing to go on, and it's like, but that's why their Christ is Nimrod. See what I'm saying? That's who their Jesus is, Nimrod, who built this ancient city of Babel. Right? Matter of fact, let's go back to 10 real quick. Let's read about him.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod.
And Cush begat Nimrod. So like Amir, Yahweh Shem Yahweh, go ahead.
And he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was as a
Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one. He's the first prominent man in the earth, the first king type, presidential type, celebrity type. He's the first one to exist. This Cushite man, Elroy the Levite, Yahweh Shem Yahweh. It's this dude Nimrod, right? And Nimrod, where we at? 8.
Yeah. Start
at the top. Oh no, keep reading. So
Genesis 10 and 8. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
This Cushite, Ethiopian, read.
He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh.
So he was a mighty hunter, right? So again, now we're dealing with the primitive stages of this earth, right? Not caveman primitive like the white man will lead you to believe people were living, not like that, but primitive, the beginnings of the earth. So the person who is looked at in esteem the most and gains popularity and celebrity at this time is the hunter, because that's what you need to be able to do at this time. You got to hunt. So because he was such a mighty hunter, he was looked at as the man in the earth, right? Go ahead.
It says, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech and Akkad.
Akkad. Who knows what Akkad is? Right? Akkad? No. That's the Hebrew word Akkad. Akkad is a culture. It's the Akkadian script, the Akkadian cuneiform, the Assyrian language. This is what these people developed after the language was confounded. They say this is the oldest existing written language, because this kingdom that he built, right, spoke that language after the languages were confounded. Gertie King Yahweh Shem Yahweh. Go ahead.
It says back to Genesis
in the land of Shinar. So in that whole area of Assyria and Iraq, the Syria and Iraq, that whole area in the Middle East, this Cushite established a kingdom there and ran, right? The Cushite's kingdom is that whole Middle East. Here's another common misconception. I'm gonna show you, they got it in this book, right? I'm show you another misconception of Hebrew Israelites. And they get it from Christians. Right? Let's go look at the map. Look at this. You go big. Solo mode. Y'all see this map? Right? Dubai, get the TV on.
It's on.
It's on? Y'all can see me?
It's just got to load. So, yes, they can. They'll see it.
Okay, so as y'all can see here, y'all see this? This map say. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's just pull it up. That'll be easier, right?
And also, too, Alazar, people try to say various things about, the inhabitants of what people used to look like in particular lands. Right here, Cushites, nobody will debate on the earth that Cushites are.
Or Ethiopians.
You see what I'm saying?
Nobody.
But they lived where? At this time, Iraq.
And not South Sac.
Just goes to show you that, through, conquest, people move because of famine, which is what our ancestors did. People different ethnicities of people can be in different places of the earth or migrate from one place to the other.
There's nothing magical about that. Very practical, very observable in life. Respect life. See, now this is an accurate one right here. This is a real accurate one.
Stuttered like a mom right there.
You said what?
Stuttered like a mom.
So I guess I'll go to this one. Is this good? So look at this. Can I just get this picture, man? I don't want your BS. Okay, so y'all can see the screen. This is what they tell us. They go, see, Africa, that's the land of Ham. In the Middle East, that's the land of Shem. In Europe, that's the land of Japheth. Right? That's what they say, right? But let's just take a look at that. Number one, they say this is the land of Shem, but this is where Cush, Nimrod built his kingdom, who's the grandson of Cush. So, or the son of Cush, the grandson of Ham. So he's in this area that they say is Shem's area, built a kingdom. All the way down here, Yemen, all this area the Cushites controlled across back into what you would call Ethiopia, right? They control all of that. So this concept that the Middle East is Shem's land and Africa is Ham's land and Europe is what's this? Japheth's land. That's fake. That's not biblical. That's all predicated upon white supremacy and white supremacy telling you that you're a Hamite and they're the beautiful Japhites and then everybody else is Shemitic, right?
What about the promised land even?
Which is the Nile to the Euphrates. So watch this.
Because it literally calls Egypt the land of Ham in the Psalms.
Exactly. But people take that verse and say, see, this is talking about Africa. No. Because the land of Ham far transcends Africa, right? I'm going to show you. This is big. It's kind of big. It's on Pinterest, man. Damn. Wait. I think I got a Bible map. I don't got a Bible map here.
Yeah, it's in the office.
It's in my car. Mm-hmm. Is it? No, it's in my house. Salaki. It's in my house. I'm trying to just get a decent one, man, because this is crazy. It's one my grandpa used to have this in the house. Hold on. This is a very simple thing I want to show y'all. Let me see the land of. Let me see that one. That might be good. You see, could they be having them in the Bibles? Let me see. Look, this is it. This is what I want to show. Right. So go, Hassan. Go to Genesis 10. right? Go to Genesis 10. And give me verse. Genesis 10 and verse. Where's it going to Cush? I mean, not Cush. Canaan. Hold on.
Where's it going to Canaan?
Yeah, where's it going to
15.
Canaan at? Verse 15. Hold on, let me look. Okay, so okay, 15. You read verse 15.
Genesis 10 and 15. And Canaan begat Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth.
And who?
Heth.
And Heth. Who is Heth the father of? What nation of people is Heth the father of? Who knows? Does anybody know? What nation of people did Heth father? We don't know. Hasad's uncle Yabashimah Shabrakatawa. Nobody knows? The Hittites. So the Hittites are Canaanites. Let's take a look. We can read, right? I see this map. It said this is the Hittite land. That's in Europe. Where is that? That's Turkey. You are tripping. That's about Turkey. Right there. Looks like Turkey to me, nigga. Right here.
Yes, that's Turkey.
That's Turkey. Hamites are living all the way up into Europe. That's their land in Europe. So the concept that Ham's land is Africa and Shem's land is the Middle East and Japheth's land in Europe, if you just open your Bible map, you could just read and you know anything about geography, you know that that's a lie, because the Hamites' first kingdom is in Iraq, which they say is Shem land. And the Hittites are living in damn Turkey, right? So that whole concept, that's out the window. Stop with it. That comes from white people, right? Connie Johnson says, I thought Hittites were melanated folks as well. They are melanated folks. Non-melanated folks do not come from Europe. They come from caves, and then they moved into caves in Europe. But they were in caves in the Middle East. So you have Ham and Shem and Japheth living in different areas all around. You got to remember that to say that Ham's land is Africa and Shem's land is Europe, and I mean Shem's land is the Middle East, and Japheth's land is Europe, is to say that Ham, Shem, and Japheth got off the boat and all went to their respective places and started making babies and stayed there. It's not what happened. All people, mind you, this is before Moab, Ammon, Ishmael, Jacob, and Esau, right? But there are about 20 nations of people that are all in Babel together, right? So when the scattering happens, it happens from there. So people just go wherever. There's not all the Shemites went this way and all the Hamites went this way, right? Not as monolithically as people are looking at it, right? And the Cushites, they didn't even leave the Middle East. They expanded over into Africa, right? Into what they call Sheba. You've heard of the Queen of Sheba? See what I'm saying? So let's go back.
Into 11.
Into 11.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
It says, so I'm going to read verse 7 again. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
So the Most High had to destroy Babylon because he did not want people to be together like that. It's that simple. He did not want everybody together. Oh, Salaki. It's not what he wanted. It's what he never wanted. So anytime people try to bring everybody together, the Most High is going to stand against that. Just like now when America's trying to give this collective ideology that everybody's American. The Greeks, Esau is the wicked man, right? He's so evil and wicked. Because he's the one, like everybody, when we go here to Babylon, right? Everybody agreed we're just going. Let's go here. What does it say? Read verse 3 and 11.
Genesis 3 and 11.
No, the third verse in chapter 11.
Okay, Genesis 11 and 3. And they said one to another.
They said one to another. This is an agreement between the people that are there. They said one to another. What? Read.
Go to. Let us make brick
Uh-huh.
and burn them thoroughly.
Uh-huh.
And they had brick from stone, and slime had they from mortar.
Read on. Keep going.
Verse 4. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower,
They agreed to do this. Read.
whose top may reach unto heaven,
Uh-huh.
and let us make us a name.
We want to
which
make us a name. A name.
Yeah.
We want. Everybody got together and said we want to be one people. Starting with the Greeks, when they got in power, they forced everybody to be Greek. They forced everybody to be one people. The Romans continue that. The Western white man, who are the descendants of those people, continue that now, where they'll force you to everybody collectively identify under one term, right? But this was never the way the Most High intended to be. And even going back to Babylon, they didn't force anybody. Everybody very voluntarily came into this identity of this collective identity in Babylon, right? So this whole thing is madness, right? But let's keep going. Let's jump back up to where we was at. What is verse 8?
Verse 9.
No, you was in verse 8.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, So Yahweh
So
scattered.
like you de-awaken Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah with the water. Go ahead.
So Yahweh scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth.
So Yahweh scattered them abroad. So he got rid of them. He scattered them abroad from thence, from everybody in the earth, right? That's what happened, right? Salakia. So now people live in different places. That's where that all comes from, and they speak different languages. Verse 9.
Therefore is the name of it called Babel,
The name is called Babel. Read.
because Yahweh did there confound the language of all the earth.
Uh-huh.
And from thence did Yahweh scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
So now that place is called Babel, right? Babel, which means confusion. So this is the first time we see Babylon. It's the first time we see it introduced into the scriptures. And now every other time we see it, we have to reference back to reference back to this passage, right? This whole chapter. So it's synonymous with number one, confusion. That's a place where there's much confusion, right? Where everybody's confused. This builds the precedent for what's been systemic, with Babylon, right? What's indicative of Babylon. So now let's go to Micah, right? Because there's controversy on Babylon. What is Babylon? Where is Babylon? We let prophecy tell us where everything is and who everything is and who everyone is. We let prophecy tell us where the Israelites, right? When you read Deuteronomy 28, that's prophecy. That's what it is. It told us what was going to happen if we disobeyed, it happened. It's prophecy. Prophecy is what indicates everything for us as so-called blacks and Hispanics, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Where we at, Micah?
4 and 10.
4 and 10. Let me turn to it briefly. Select. Oh, what a real Micah. 4 and 10. Go ahead.
Micah 4 and 10. Be in pain in labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion.
So it say, be in pain and labor to bring forth, like a woman in labor. Right? Labor pains. Read.
Like a woman in travail.
Uh-huh.
For now shalt thou go forth out of the city.
We shall now go forth out of the city. This is a prophecy that we're going to go forth out of the city. What's the city? Anybody notice it? Huh? Huh?
Israel.
The city.
You're talking about
It's a city, so it's a city. Jerusalem. There you go. Jerusalem is a city. Go ahead.
And thou shalt dwell in the fields.
What's the field? Who knows what the field is? What's Africa, right? Keep going.
And thou shalt go even to Babylon.
Then you're going to go to Babylon. So here's the problem. You have certain people that's teaching Babylon is what, Assad?
Saudi Arabia.
No.
Yeah.
That's not as prominent as the other one.
Church?
The Vatican. Because
Okay.
somebody asked about the Vatican earlier.
Mm.
The Vatican is how big, Assad? Like
It's
a couple
the
miles?
tiniest.
Like it's a mile?
Yes, you can run probably to the end of it and back. And
The Vatican is not where people went. You got exiled out of Israel. You fled into Africa. From Africa, you were taken into slavery. Where? To Babylon. So this is the number one prophecy. Really, we can close the book here to break down is what it is right here. Micah 4:10. Read it again.
Micah 4:10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion,
Uh-huh.
like a woman in travail.
Read on.
For thou shalt now go forth out of the city,
Uh-huh.
and shall dwell in the fields.
Uh-huh. So this, of course, couldn't be ancient Babylon. Like somebody will try to dismiss prophecies about Babylon and blanket it to ancient Babylon, but we didn't just run out of the city and then dwell in the field and then go to Babylon. No, we were taken directly from Israel, directly to Babylon, directly in slavery. There was not this stop in the field. No, this is very simple. We shall go forth of the city. We were ran out of it 70 AD. We dwelt in the field for a certain amount of time, which we're going to read about in parallel prophecy. Then we go to Babylon. Read.
And thou shalt go even to Babylon.
Uh-huh.
There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies.
So now, for people who think it's the Vatican, apparently, guys, we're all going to go to slavery. You can't fit every black and Hispanic. You can't fit a sliver of black and Hispanics in the Vatican. We'll overpopulate it, destroy it, take it over. All the nuns will be pregnant in no time. It just won't work, right? So you know the choirs that sing, ooh, all that, they're gonna be singing trap music and all that. We'll turn that whole place out. Half of them are gonna sing Bad Bunny. The other half are gonna be singing Beyonce song. It'll be bad, right? That ain't gonna work. But let's say Saudi Arabia. If it's talking about Saudi Arabia, then we got another captivity to go to, y'all. This is not America. It hasn't been bad enough. It's not over. We're going to somehow. They're gonna put us on cargo slave ships again, and we're gonna be in Mecca serving. Please, yeah, right. Nakamaya.
And with that precept about the east wind, going to how
That's a good Jeremiah 18-16. That's a good precept for this. Another good precept for this in Jeremiah. Powerful precept. 18-15. No, 17. Right? So when you take a look at Jeremiah 18-17, right, in the spirit. Where do I want to start at? So it says here in Jeremiah 18-17, it's a prophecy against Israel, and it says, I will scatter them as with an east wind before the enemy. I will shew them the back and not the face in the day of their calamity. So it says he'll scatter us as an east wind. The east wind blows from the east. If it blows from the east, it's blowing everything west, right? So this shows you that we were getting scattered predominantly westward of the location where. That's why this is where you find our people. You find us in the Americas. You find us in Africa. Even a lot of us are in Europe, more so than east of Jerusalem, in Arabia, in the land of Elam, in Asia, etc. Majority of us are west of home, right? Which is key to understanding. Where we at? Go ahead. Where you left off?
Micah 4:10. It says, thou shalt go even to Babylon, and there shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies.
That's when we get our redemption there, right? We want to hold Micah 4. Let's go to Revelation 12 now, because this is reiterated in the New Testament, the same prophecy, right? Take a look. Mm-hmm.
Could you also bring out the precept with that on Luke 1:71?
We said what?
Which is that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand that hate us?
It's not specific.
No, okay.
These are very specific ones, right? Start at 12:1.
Revelation 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. A woman.
Go ahead.
Clothed with the sun.
Who's the woman? Israel. The woman is Israel. The woman clothed with the sun, read.
and the moon under her feet,
And the moon on her feet, read.
and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Israel, get it? 12 tribes. Go ahead.
And she being with child cried, travailing in birth.
Now say what? You gotta read
And
slow.
she being with child cried, travailing in birth.
Micah 4 and 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. The same prophecy, right? Keep reading.
And pain to be delivered.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared another great wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Who is the red dragon? Who? Rome. Who said NATO? Here's the thing, so you can understand, and we're going to go into it further with this. You have the red dragon, 7 heads, 10 horns. That's Rome. Then you have the scarlet colored beast, 7 heads, 10 horns, which is the rebirth of Rome. But it's not Rome. It's not the red dragon. It's the beast, right? Then you have the horde. Then you have the second beast, or the horde that rides the beast. That's America, right? Which we're going to go all the way into. So the red dragon is that original Roman Empire, right? Then you have the beast. That's the revised Rome. The scarlet colored beast is that revised, that rebirth. They regenerated the Roman Empire. You see what I'm saying? So those are the differences. So that's the NATO and EU, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, European Union, that's represented as the beast of this time. In Yahushua time and around that time, it's the red dragon, that original Roman Empire, right? We'll explain as we get into the prophecies, the dynamics of that, right? So go ahead.
And his tail drew the third part of the
Right,
stars of heaven.
it's got 7 heads. The 7 heads, of course, represent Britannia, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Rome, Greece, France, Spain. That's the power of Rome. Besides, Uncle Yahbashim Yahshabrakatawathwada. Go ahead.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. And
so his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Its tail, its army went against the southern kingdom, right? The third part of the stars. And what happened?
And did cast them to the earth.
Kicked us out of our land. So again, when it says here in Micah 4 and 10, thou shalt go forth for the city. Read that part again.
And the dragon, it says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth.
That's the same thing as, for thou shalt go forth out of the city. We were kicked out, right? Why is the city so important from a historical point, Hassad? Do you know? Why it says, y'all shall go forth out of the city. But why? It's Israel. We live in Israel, right? Why is it only talking about Jerusalem?
Oh, because the southern kingdom going on?
Nope.
70 AD.
70 AD, but you got to get specific. Why is it Jerusalem? Huh? No, not the temple. We did a lesson. I did a lesson a couple weeks ago called
people before a place?
No. Did a lesson a couple weeks ago.
When the city get compared by army.
But there's a reason Yahushua said the city from a historical point. I'm going to show you. I'm going to just show y'all. It's all right. I'm going to give y'all a refresher course. I just went into this a couple weeks ago, though. Watch this. Okay, so watch this. Yet when the revolt broke out in 66 CE, which is the start of the prophetic week in Daniel, right? The Jewish Roman wars. The Galilean, where's Galilee? Aside, where's Galilee? Where? What are we talking about right now? We're talking about Jerusalem and the importance of the emphasis being put on Jerusalem.
In relation to Jerusalem?
Yes, where's Galilee? Whose land is Galilee? It says it right in the New Testament.
Galilee or Gentile? I can't remember what northern kingdom.
Zebulun and Naphtali. That's the north. That's the north. That's not the south, right? So again, when a revolt broke out in 66 CE, the Galilean zealots fled the Roman massacres, and sought refuge in the last major Jewish stronghold, Jerusalem. So we lived all over that whole area. But by the end of the war, we were all in Jerusalem. Everybody ran to Jerusalem. That was the last thing that we had. So that's why it says we shall go forth for the city, because they literally conquered us inch by inch and backed us into Jerusalem. And when it finally destroyed us, that's where they exiled us directly out of. We were all in Jerusalem. We all got kicked out of Jerusalem. So when it says, thou shalt go forth out of the city, when Yahushua said, when they shall surround the city, right? When it says here in Revelations 12, right? He did cast them to the earth. He cast us out of the city. We're kicked out of Jerusalem, right? That's the importance. So it's very important, the specifics of that prophecy, right? The specifics of that prophecy. They kicked us out of Jerusalem in general. Deacon, not Masada. Masada was just only the Sicarii at Masada. The last stand of Israel is in Jerusalem. The Sicarii is in the Masada, right? One sect. The rest of them niggas had been, for the most part, in general, got ran out. We know there was still remnants that remained because there was wars later in time. But that general kick out is in Jerusalem, because Masada is not in Jerusalem, right? So where we at? Revelation 12, let's go.
It says, and did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Wanted to kill Yahushua, arm of the Roman Empire, being the Herod that was on the scene at that time, right? Let's keep going.
And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations.
Yahushua, go ahead.
With a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God.
We know death, burial, and resurrection, right? Go ahead.
And to his throne.
Read on.
And the woman fled into the wilderness.
When it said the woman fled into the wilderness, that's the same as when it says, and thou shalt dwell in the fields. We go into Africa. What was going on in Africa during this time? Who knows? Who can tell me what's going on in Africa during this time? In the majority of that sub-Saharan Africa. What's going on? Who knows? Who could tell me? In 70 AD, what's going on in sub-Saharan Africa? Nobody knows? Nothing. Jack squat was going on. Nobody lived there. That's why it's a wilderness. Let me show you. Let me show you. I'm going to learn them. Go back to the screen. Pull up this word, G2048, which is the same word that appears here in 12 when it says, and a woman fled into the wilderness, the woman again, which is Israel. Solitary, lonely, desolate, uninhabited, deserted places, lonely regions, right? Uncultivated region fit for pasture. That's what we went to in the Africa. We went to this very rich and fertile and resourceful land that nobody lived in sub-Saharan Africa. People will try to tell you that people lived in sub-Saharan Africa for millions of years, but there's no evidence of civilization in sub-Saharan Africa before 700 AD. They're liars, all right? Because the archaeology says they didn't start building stuff there until 700 AD. You know why? Because we leave, we go into Egypt in that area, we migrate over across Carthage in the Mediterranean region of Africa, then we migrate all the way down into West Africa. And we begin to cultivate there. Nobody lives there. But when we go there, the Canaanites, they come there with us, of course, right? Because they got kicked out as well. So when it says, y'all shall go into the field or the wilderness, that's the wilderness it's talking about, right? An uninhabited area, right? There were no people there until we went there. So now, where we at?
Still in the sixes.
Go ahead.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God.
The Lord prepared West Africa for us. It's a lovely land. Priest Gahan is going there right now. Elder Matthias were there. It's a lovely, amazing land. The Most High gave us a break in that land. Right? Go ahead.
That they should feed her there 1,203 days.
Prophetic years, 1,203 square years, 1,260 years. We lived in that area, right? We lived in that area and built and did our thing and then we go into slavery, right? Again, what does it say in Micah 4:10? You should go into the field, and after that 1260 years, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. We're going to slavery after we have that place prepared for that period of time, right? So now let's go back to Micah 4. We're going to start at 1. We're going to read the whole chapter, right?
Micah 4:1.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last days, it shall come to pass.
Say what?
In the last days.
In the last days. So that's also why you can't get around what this prophecy is talking about. Because the prophecy starts out as what? In the last days, right? Go ahead.
It shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the
Hold
mountain.
on. Shaka Ward. Shaka Ward has made a good point. Exactly. History tells you the Romans only went into North Africa. They didn't go beyond that Sahara Desert. First off, who's trying to cross the Sahara? That don't sound wise. No. And after hundreds of years of us migrating, we eventually did it. We didn't even hurry up and do it. This is centuries it takes us to get across it. And then settle in Mali, in Ghana, in the Ivory Coast, in Benin, in Nigeria, etc. Then we settle there. But I want you so-called black people to understand something. I want you black people to understand something. When the white man tells you that you existed in Africa for millions of years, he's telling you you are an idiot. Because he's telling you that you did nothing but live in huts and swing from trees all that time. And then all of a sudden, just in 400, 500, 600, 700 AD, you finally figured out how to build something. Right? That's literally what he's telling you. Because why is nothing there until that time period? It's simple. Because nobody lived there until this time period. Then when we moved there, we began to cultivate. We began to be kingdoms and empires, etc. Mansa Musa, y'all know the names, right? So go ahead.
And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord.
When does this happen? Does this happen yet? No. Hell no. Right? Go ahead.
And to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways.
Meaning everybody's going to worship our God. Everybody does not worship our God. There's never been a point in time where everybody worshiped our God. It's never happened, right? So we know that this prophecy could not have possibly came to pass yet, right? Let's go.
For the law shall go forth out of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Meaning in Jerusalem, everyone's going to come and the Israelites are going to teach them the Bible, right? That's when it said, hold that. Let's get Isaiah 61.
Isaiah 61:5.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and strangers shall be your, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks.
They're going to work for you. Non-Israelites, read.
The sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers.
Slaves, go ahead.
But you shall be named the priests of the Lord.
You're going to be a priest of God. Your job, if you call it a job, it's a fun job, but it's still a job, right? Is teaching the Bible, right? Go ahead.
Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles.
You're going to get paid for this by having the money of all the nations, right? Go ahead.
And in their glory shall ye boast yourselves.
And you're going to boast yourself on the gold and the diamonds and the jewels and all the stones and all the greatness that you're going to get from other people, right? As you teach them the word of God. That's the problem. That's what Israel's guaranteed, right? So let's keep going.
Micah chapter 4, verse 3. And he shall judge among many people.
Salakia, Dylan Village. Y'all got to, I'm ready to turn the chat off for the stupidity in the chat. If you still think Africa was named after the white man and not vice versa, you haven't studied history. All right. The word Africa is in the Bible, right? It's one of Abraham's sons. That's what that's named after. All right. So y'all got to get that. Leosippius Africanus his name was never Africanus. They gave him the name because he conquered that area that was called Africa, right? Which is just it wasn't all of Africa, just a northern part of Africa. All right. Which the word just means dust. Okay. Where's Adam come from? Y'all gotta be in class more. Y'all come in class and y'all blurt stuff out, but y'all don't be coming to class paying attention. We've gone over all this stuff through the Spirit of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
It says, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off.
That's right. So that's what's getting ready to happen. We're gonna rule the world. That's what this is a prophecy about. Us ruling the world, right? Read on.
They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
It say what? Read that part again.
They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks.
What does that mean? No more war. They're going to be working. They don't need to focus on fighting. We have jobs for them. You're going to build our kingdom for us. You're going to cultivate our land, etc. Y'all have no time to be fighting at all. Go to work, right? Go ahead.
It says, nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of Yahweh.
Read that again.
But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree.
What does that mean? Everybody's going to deal with their own people, right? They're going to be their own people. There was a clip, throwback clip of Sonetta arguing with a right Rastafarian, white boy Rastafarian. And he asked the white boy, he said, "Oh, so you're a Rasta?" He said, "Yeah, I'm a Rasta." He had the accent and everything, Jamaican accent, this white boy. And he says, "Do the Rastas let you sleep with black women?" And the Rasta said, "No, every man must build their own fig tree." White boy though, right? But this is where they get that statement from, right here. Everybody in the kingdom, everybody deals with their own fig tree. What is it? Yahweh Shai is going to separate the nations.
Yes.
And then he's going to set that in order. Read that, matter of fact.
Matthew 25:31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, even as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Right, so he's going to separate everybody. There ain't going to be no togetherness. But that's what Babylon wants, right? Because that's what this lesson is about, Babylon. That's what Babylon wants everybody together. God has never wanted everybody together. God confounded languages so everybody can do their own thing. God, in Yahweh Shai, he's sending his son Yahweh Shai to do the same. Separate, right? Go back to Micah.
Micah 4:4. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid.
It say what?
And none shall make them afraid.
And none shall make them afraid. Nobody is going to make the Israelites afraid anymore. Go ahead.
For the mouth of Yahweh of hosts hath spoken it. For all people will walk every one in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever.
We're going to walk in the name of the Lord our God. So this is not prophetic in the sense that in the kingdom people are going to walk after their gods. This is just saying what people do. They're going to do whatever they want to do, and we're going to follow the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
It says, in that day saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out.
Again, like it says, we've been driven out into the field, and then we go to Babylon. We're going to be gathered, right? In the day that all of Israel is gathered, that's when this is going to happen. Read.
And in her that I have afflicted, and I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation.
You're going to take the remnant of us and turn us into a strong nation. Read.
And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever.
See that? So we know this is all future prophecy. Keep going.
And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion.
The first dominion. Give me the precept on the first dominion. Are you going that way? No. Revelations. Come on now. You don't know the first dominion precept? How you don't know the first dominion precept? You same shall reign 1,000 years with Christ?
Okay.
Come on, man. You gotta get somebody get this guy some coffee. Can we get him some coffee, man? He needs coffee. Fast. His mind ain't working. He knows this scripture. Go ahead.
You want okay.
What I want.
20 it is. The reason why I'm looking for is because.
Oh, you don't have it.
Yeah. That's why I don't have it in my life.
There you go. Let me try to get rid of this thing. You're gonna hang this up in the rafters. It's done its job. But there's new uniforms. All right, go ahead.
Revelation 20:6. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. Read.
On such the second death hath no power.
Meaning you're not going to go into the lake of fire. You're amongst those Israelites, that 1/3 of that come out of America and others that are gathered, which of course are outside of 1/3, but you're a part of that, right? That does not go into the lake of fire, because some are going to be resurrected to go into the lake of fire, right? Read.
But they shall be priests of God and of Christ. That's a Trinity monster. It says, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Right, and shall what?
Reign with him 1,000 years.
You're gonna reign with Yahushua. All of us that are what the whole goal of what we're doing right now is to be able to reign with Yahushua 1,000 years. That's like what we're all working towards. That's the goal, right? So understanding that's the goal, when we read here in Micah 4, when it says, "O thou tower of the flock of the elect, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion." That's that first dominion, to reign with Yahushua 1,000 years. The rest of the Israelites are going to have to get born into that kingdom and reign after that. But our reign, the reign that we're trying to obtain, is that first one, right? That first millennium with Yahushua, right? Go ahead.
Even the first dominion, and then it's got, I think, what's the semicolon?
Mm-hmm.
The kingdom shall come to the daughter.
That one. So when we talk about the kingdom and the kingdom, this is that kingdom, right? Go ahead.
The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem.
Read on.
That's a true salvation. Too. It says
major.
Yeah.
Shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. That's why get Acts 1.
Acts chapter 1, verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Isn't that what they're looking for? The same thing. And there's nobody else involved in that, right? This is exclusive. It's what we call salvific exclusivity, right? They call it, right? So let's go back to Micah.
Micah 4 and 9. Now, why dost thou cry out aloud? Is there no king in thee? Is thy counselor perished? For pangs have taken thee as a woman.
So it's talking about, well, all this is coming to us. But very rhetorically, the prophet Micah's going, why y'all crying then? Because y'all know y'all going to get this. Y'all crying like a woman that's giving birth, right? So read 10.
Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city.
Don't worry. He's telling you, listen, you're going to be kicked out and ran out of Jerusalem. Read.
And thou shalt dwell in the fields.
You're going to go into the field. That's known as West Africa. Go ahead.
And thou shalt go even to Babylon.
Then you're going to get put on ships and go to Babylon. Right? Where did the Israelites go after they were ran out of Israel? Then where did they go from there? Oh, it's very simple. They went into slavery into America. That's how we know America is Babylon. Right? Keep going.
It says, and there thou shalt be delivered.
This is how we know this is the place where we're going to be delivered from thermonuclear fire, from the hand of our enemies. Read.
It says, there shall the Lord redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies.
Right. All right out of here. Go ahead.
And just a quick point on that. That's why it says in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, no man shall redeem you. No man is going to be able to redeem you. It says, the Lord, there in Babylon shall the Lord redeem thee.
He's awake now. See that? Boom. Powerful precept. No man shall redeem. Yahweh shall redeem us from the hand of our enemies. Go ahead.
I got a precept.
Go ahead. Get down.
Isaiah 47 and 4, it says, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel, which coincidentally enough, Isaiah 47 and 1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter. Yeah.
And what else is in Isaiah 47? No, I'm Isaiah 45 and 17.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right around there. No chapters on it, right?
Yeah.
That's the Trito Isaiah, brother. That Trito is Deutero Isaiah.
Deuter is like 20.
The deacon in the chat, let me know. Go ahead.
Verse 11, it says, now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let it be defiled. Let our eye look upon Zion.
Read on.
But they know not the thoughts of Yahweh, neither understand they his counsel. For he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor.
So it's all talking about that gathering, so we know that this is about the diaspora, right? Go ahead.
Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thy horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people.
Read on.
And I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth.
Goes right to Isaiah 61, right?
Yeah.
That's what is getting ready to happen. That's the chain of events. We're going to go through hell. We're going to get kicked out of our land. We're going to go to Africa. We're going to get taken into slavery in Babylon. All the nations are going to come against us. And then guess what? He's going to redeem us, deliver us, and we're going to destroy these people. Right? That's all very neatly lined out in the 13 verses of Micah, the 4th chapter. Let's now go to Revelation 17. Right? He's showing you that in the Old Testament about Babylon. Now we're going to get some New Testament love about Babylon. Revelations 17. Let's read 1 and 2 in Revelation 17. Right?
Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials.
Trito. That's you want Sicarii water, Deacon? Go ahead.
And talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
So who is the great whore that sitteth upon many waters? That's Babylon. If you just read, I mean, we're going to get it in a second, but just so we can understand. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. That's there in the 5th verse. So this woman is Babylon. So everything that's talking about this woman is Babylon. I'm going to show you real quick. Read that verse again.
Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore.
This is the great whore. Y'all see the great whore? Y'all can look on there. The great whore's name is Columbia. Right? Columbia calls. What does that mean? What does Columbia calls mean? Let's take a look. Columbia. Right? Columbia personification. Columbia is the female national personification of the United States. So when you read about this whore, why is it America personifies itself as this girl? Right? Because it's the whore. It's the Statue of Liberty. It's all that. It's that personification as a woman of America called Columbia. Right? Is the female national personification of the United States. It's also the historical name applied to the Americas and to the New World. The association has given rise to names of many American places, objects, institutions, and companies, such as Columbia University, the District of Columbia. Hail Columbia, the unofficial national and official vice presidential anthem, as well as ship Columbia Redivia, which would be given its name to Columbia River. Images of the Statue of Liberty largely displayed the personification of Columbia as the female symbol of the United States by around 1920, although Lady Liberty was seen as an aspect of Columbia. So that's it right there. This is the whore that's seen. America, right? That's why, what did they say? The brother from Cornerstone always brought this out. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. Why are they always calling it her, America?
She's also
Yeah.
That's why it says
The whore.
mother. That's why it says
Well, yeah, thy mother. She has a mother. There's a scripture that says about America that your mother shall weep for you. Who's the mother? Britain.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? It's all in the Bible.
Great hood.
The great hood. You're right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Revelation 17 and 2. Whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Right. So that means everybody is following the doctrines and the philosophies that come out of America. Everywhere we go, we see that. I remember I was watching something. It was an NFL show, matter of fact, in the early 2000s, like around the time when the army went into Iraq. And I want to say, they had like the Fox guys, like Terry Bradshaw. They were talking to some Iraq soldiers that had just got back from Iraq.
Yeah. There's another.
That's not funny. You know why?
Oh, wow. That's not funny.
And they don't even know that. But whatchamacallit?
Not funny at all.
What I was saying? Oh, so yeah. They're like interviewing these Iraq war veterans. And they said they was talking to an Iraqi dude. And he said, I had an opinion the other day, and my wife disagreed with me. That's the first time that ever happened, right? Because in oh, so
should that not be on there?
Definitely not. So you know that's that doctrine, that philosophy that went everywhere. That never happened where a nigga wife thought she was gonna disagree with him in Iraq. Now, guess what? Everybody has an equal opinion. You see what I'm saying? Where did that come from? That comes from America. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse.
So I just wanted you to read 1 and 2.
That's 2.
Hold. We're gonna go back. Let's go to Jeremiah 51:7, right?
Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hands.
Say it been a golden cup, right? So then we read in Revelations, it say the same thing, right? And the inhabitants of the earth have been drunk with her wine. Read.
That made all the earth drunken.
Made all the earth drunk. Read.
The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
Again. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Same thing. But Jeremiah is contemporary with Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. But he still prophesied against Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon and against a Babylon to come. Keisha C. How about the water? He prophesied also about a Babylon that was to come. Sometimes it was interchangeable. Sometimes it was applicable to both. Sometimes it was to one. Sometimes it was the other. Right? So now let's go to Ecclesiastes 1:9-10.
Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Read on.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
Read on.
Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us.
It's already happened. So when we read, number one, the fact that, Tazapanya, start drilling. The fact that we're reading about a place that is a mysteriously in the future from when the prophet wrote it would be called Babylon. The fact that we're reading about that place and the fact that it's called Babylon, right? We go into the fact that it's referred to as it's not going to be literally called Babylon, but biblically, allegorically, it's being called Babylon, right? Now, the word allegory, when you break it down etymologically, the root is alias, right? So it's referring to a place by an alias. So its alias is Babylon, right? But why would I call something Babylon if it wasn't similar? It has to have the same similarities as Babylon. So then when we go back and we read about prophecies about the ancient Babylon, we know they're applicable to this modern day place, or else there would be no sense in calling it Babylon, right? Like if you watch the show called The Wire, when they used to talk allegorically on the phone to get dope drops in the low-rise projects, which is where the season 1 mainly took place. It's where Bodie and them was at. When they needed more dope in the low rises, they get on the phone and say, "Little man hungry." They call the projects little man and big man, the big projects and the little ones. But what would be the point in them calling it little man if it wasn't little, right? That's the whole point in them referring to it allegorically. There's something about that that's similar to that. You see what I'm saying? So if you're calling it Babylon, it's got to be similar to those ancient Babylons that existed. It's not just they're just gonna call it Babylon and there's no parallels to draw. So with that, the prophecies about ancient Babylon and the things that it's saying about ancient Babylon, unless they're very specific to ancient Babylon, are applicable and interchangeable with the modern or the mystery, the future, the prophetic Babylon. See what I'm saying? Where we at?
Revelation 17.
17. Go back to Revelation 17. We're reading 3 on down to 11, right?
Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Right. So the woman is on the beast now. The woman runs the beast. The woman controls the beast. King Wolf, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatha Wath. Why is this? It's very simple, because America has the most power, the most influence, the most say-so, the most military might out of that Western European power structure. If you take a look at the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and the European Union and all the member states thereof, what you understand is everything goes out of America. America calls those shots. America's running the show. America is mightier than any of the Western European nations. That's why the whore is riding. That's a gun. That's why the whore is riding. All right. You gotta know that difference between the firework and the firearm. All right. So go ahead.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet.
Arrayed in purple and scarlet. Our modern day purple and scarlet would be, you know, Gucci, Louis, what are these? All these brands. I'm forgetting somebody. Damn, Amiri. That's what everybody's wearing now. The damn Amiri. All those designer high-end brands. That's what just wearing the color purple and scarlet. That was that serious back in that time. Just being able to wear the color, because what made and what gave value to garments at that time was the color it was dyed, the type of dye that was used on it. Now you can get anything, any color you want. That's simple. So now it's designers. But in that time, it was that color. That color indicated money you was having. Right? Go ahead.
It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand.
She's glorified. She has that on. She's got jewels. She's glorified like America is glorified. There's a quote I'm always going to reference. Nicki Minaj, when she was first coming out, she does a documentary on MTV. Nicki Minaj is an immigrant from Trinidad, right? And she said when she was here and she was going to go to America, she believed America, when you got here, everybody lived in a golden castle, right? That's what she believed about America. You know why? Read that part again.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
See that? That's what she thought. Because that's how America is viewed by the world, in that level of glory, right? Go ahead.
Having a golden cup in her hand,
full
of abominations.
So she's got this golden cup that she's going to give you to drink. You're going to internalize what's in that cup, and it's going to make you abominable. It's going to make you believe that you shouldn't be transphobic, bro. You shouldn't be transphobic. Like, people do what they want. Abortions, women have the right to choose whether or not they want to carry your child. Even though she chose she wanted to carry your child, when she lets you have sex with her, she already made the choice. But apparently she can choose up until the damn baby's born. She could regret, she could think that over now. She's already done it. You've already done it, right? Already did it. Even you put a rubber on, you still did it. That thing can't break. That thing's foolproof, right? But no, don't be reproductively irresponsible. She has her right to do anything she wants, right? Don't be mad when somebody is a boy, but they identify as a woman. These are the abominations that are in that cup, and they feed them to you. They force feed them down your throat, right? Go ahead.
Remember the very first Planet of the Apes at the end, when he sees the head of the statue, he says, "You did it! You did it! You bastard!"
Yeah, well, that's getting ready to happen. When they listen, they will see Yahushua reigning on that throne. You did it, white man. You did it! The monkeys are running the world. What happened? How did the great white man fall? That's what they're gonna be saying. I'm telling you.
Listen, one of these days, you're gonna have me bring out a precept. I'm gonna open to
the Great Scrolls. I've done it. I did that on the video before. I played the precept on there. See, because the Planet of the Apes, if you ain't seen the original Planet of the Apes, you gotta watch it. Because they literally had a Bible.
Yes.
And they were bringing precepts out on the white man, right? So they basically got a precept that's saying like the white man is the devil,
Beware
basically. Like,
of the beast man.
Because basically they're saying everywhere the white man goes, he just kills people. So we have to enslave him, and we have to like put in captivity, or he's just going to kill everybody. So the Planet of the Apes is literally about black people taking over the world, right? And that's not a secret. What inspired Planet of the Apes was the Watts riots in '64. And the creators of Planet will tell you that. They got interviews talking about it. So basically what would happen if the niggas took over the world? But they just mock us and putting monkeys. He said on apes, more so apes, gorillas, etc. So now you got Gorilla Hebrews. Go ahead.
I've got it.
Go ahead. Go read it.
This is from the Great Scrolls.
It's just called the Great Scrolls. Go ahead. They had breakdowns, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, one of the man's name was Cornelius.
That's true.
It says, "Beware of the beast man, for he is a."
You read it because that's how they read it in the English accent, right? But go ahead. Like the apes are hella educated, you know what I'm saying? And uppity. Go ahead.
For he is the devil's pawn.
He's the what?
The devil's pawn.
He's the devil's pawn. Satan is using this white man to kill people and do his bidding. They understood that in the Planet of the Apes. Go ahead.
Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport or lust or greed.
See that? That's the white man. Go ahead.
Yea, he will murder his brother to possess his brother's land. Let him not breed in great numbers, for he will make a desert of.
Hold on, let him not breed in great numbers. Is that there's a precept, right? I shall cut off the name of his son and nephew, right? Go ahead.
He will make a desert of his home and yours. Shun him, drive him back into his jungle lair, for he is the harbinger of death.
He's the harbinger of death. Boom. We got precepts in the movies about you. That's the great scroll for the Planet of the Apes. They have that. They have their own Bible that the apes wrote that tells you about the white man. That's how much of how crazy that movie is, right?
Well, you know, the director said it's about black and white people.
Well, I just said that. Watch Riots brought it all out, right? So where we at? Revelation 17. Go ahead.
17:5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon.
Babylon. So mystery, meaning it was at that point in time when he got this, it was a mystery, right? This place didn't exist as a kingdom yet, right? Go ahead.
Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
So when it said a mother of harlots, the mother doesn't mean where all of it comes from. It's just like, what is the Super Bowl called? There's a certain nickname for the Super Bowl that I'm thinking about.
Shit.
Not that. Mother. Think about mother. The mother of all games. You know, people don't really call it that, but they do though. When you hear, you like, okay, they do call it that, but you know what I'm saying? It's the mother, but it's the last game of the season. It's not the first game, right? But this term, the mother of, right? I'm gonna show you. Idiom. You gotta go to the idiom dictionary. Right, so watch this. Just so y'all know I'm not lying, right? Because if your mother means it's where it came from. Nah. The best or greatest of a type. That's what mother means. So if it says the mother of all harlots, this is the greatest harlot, America. There's never been a place more wicked, right? As is that was the mother of all tennis matches. This expression originated during the Gulf War. Was a translation of Iraqi leader. It comes from a Hebrew language, an Arabic language, right? It basically, they call something the mother of, meaning a major battle, right? Like they would use this term for certain battles. Their greatest battle, they would call it the mother of battles. You see what I'm saying? So that's where this actually comes from. It entered into English speaking world during the Gulf War, but this was a part of what they call Middle Eastern thought, Hebraic thought. The mother of, right? So that's what's going on here. Go ahead.
It says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
So this woman, she's getting everybody drunk, but she's drunk. What is she drunk with? The blood of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Rashan, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh, Shah, Barakatah, Wathawada. Go ahead.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
Right, go ahead.
And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her.
I'm going to tell you about all this stuff, right? Go ahead.
Which hath 7 heads and 10 horns.
Hidden one, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh, Shah, Barakatah, Wathawada. Read.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not. Was and is not. Read.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
What's the bottomless pit? You say what?
Yeah, he's right.
Europe. Europe is the bottomless pit. So this beast ascends out of the bottomless pit. Was and is not, right? Dealing with, of course, the Roman Empire coming back. But it wasn't at this time, right? Of course, the ancient Roman Empire was, but this is that revised. So it's telling you about how the Roman Empire fell, wasn't in power, and then came back in power. Go ahead.
And go into perdition.
It'll be destroyed. Go ahead.
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
How is it yet is? Because the Roman Empire was during John's time when he wrote this prophecy, but it was. Then it's gonna fall. Then it's gonna come back. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, it is at that.
At that point. That's why it says and yet is. Like right now, it's on the scene, but it's gonna go away. Then the mug's coming back. Right? Go ahead.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains,
which means governments, right? Go ahead.
On which the woman sitteth.
Britannia, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Rome, Greece, France, Spain. That's Western Europe. That's where Rome comes out of. And every country in Western Europe springs out of one of those 7 countries or governments, right? Go ahead.
And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and yet and one is.
And one is. 7 kings, 5 are fallen, one is. Right, go ahead.
And the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
So like that's England, right? Britain. Britain comes. So when it says 5 are fallen and yet is, because of course of those 5 nations we previously mentioned, they fell, but Britain still hadn't come into power yet, all the way back during John's time. Britain don't come into power till way later down the line, right? That's why it says, and one is yet to come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, because Britain was a major power, but of course it birthed America, and then America superseded Britain. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, the British Empire is I think it's one of, if not the shortest reigning empires ever.
Shortest reigning, yet still was expansive, but it just got outshined. Right? But go ahead.
It says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th.
He is the 8th. So he's its own home. But wait, it was just 7. 7 heads. This is the 8th head. Read.
And is of the 7.
But it's of the 7, right? It's of the 7. Why is it of the 7? Because these 7 heads are that original Roman Empire, and then an 8th head pops up on this, which is personified as his own beast, is the Roman Empire rejuvenating itself and coming back 1,000 years later in time. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And the 10 horns, it says, and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition.
Will be destroyed, right? That was 11, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel 7. And we're going to start at 8, right? So this is just telling you about the foundation of how America came about. It talked about the whore, then it backtracked and talked about the beast that the whore rode, right? So that whore is America, and that Western European power is that beast, which is founded in the ancient Roman Empire. Daniel 7. Daniel 7, and we're going to start at verse 8. Go ahead.
Daniel 7 and 8. I considered the horns, and behold.
Daniel saw horns too, right? Go ahead.
There came up among them another little horn.
A what?
A little horn.
Here comes a little horn. That little horn is the same as that little whore. You're going to find out, right? Read.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
There were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. This means that when America came into power, they had to take 3 of those kingdoms, right? What do we say them kingdoms was? Britain, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Spain, France, Greece, Rome, right? How did America come into power? They had to defeat Britain, France, Spain. See that? 3 of the horns were plucked up. Read.
It says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man.
Who knows what the eyes of man are? Everybody should be well aware of this, right? Because you've been on a road. These 2 eyes have been taking Black people and Hispanic people in America, especially, on a roller coaster ride for the last 2 weeks. You said what? The Senate and the House. The Senate and the House, they're going back and forth on the stimulus. These are the eyes of a man. If these 2 eyes are not singular, nothing is going to get done in this country. That's what it's talking about, is on this horn. That's what makes this horn different from other places with this democratic system. right? And other places have drunk this wine and modeled themselves, but you've never seen it like this. They're sitting here beefing 600, 2,000, 600, 2,000. Trump is a goddamn Republican. The Republicans want 600. Trump gets on Twitter and says 2,000 now, 2,000 ASAP. The Republicans say 600. But those eyes, they got to see. They got to be one, right? Go ahead.
Okay. It says before the and I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were the three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things.
So in this horn in America, they spoke great things, right? We're going to go to the moon. We're the greatest country ever. All the stuff that comes out of the mouth of America. America has made boasts about itself unlike any other country or empire that has ever existed has. Those are that mouth speaking the great things as America, right? Read.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair as the hair like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Read all the way to 14.
14.
A fiery.
So this is talking about. Let's start back at 9.
Okay.
I gotta break this down
Okay.
right.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
I gotta break this down right.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
Right. So the thrones were cast down. The Ancient of Days. This who's the Ancient of Days? Yahweh. Right. Read.
Whose garment was white as snow.
So this guy got a body. He's wearing a garment. Right. Read.
Well, what did Simon ask the one? So you're saying God
has a back.
Yeah.
He asked him, and the nigga didn't know what to do. Yes, God has a back. Go ahead.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
He got an afro. Go ahead. It's white. Go ahead.
And his throne was like the fiery flame.
He's sitting on a throne, and his throne was like a fiery flame. And what does that mean? His throne was like a fiery flame. That means don't bother the man that's on the throne. You go before the throne, it's fire. Aside, you walk up on him, it's fire. Imagine that. You try to walk up on, so you just walk up right here, just fire, just think, watch out. Back, what do you want? You see what I'm saying? That's what Yahweh was asking you when the fire comes. What in the hell do you want from me? Right? Go ahead.
It says, and his wheels as burning fire.
Read on.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before
They're
him.
just fire just everywhere. Total power when you go before the throne of the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
It says, thousands ministered unto him.
Meaning he's got all millions of angels. You know what?
Millions.
You know what 1,000 means? That's 6 zeros, baby. Millions of angels. Right? Go ahead. This is before the word million existed. They just said 1,000. All right, go ahead.
That's kind of similar with Japanese too. Like you don't, when you say like 40,000, you don't say 40,000. You just say 10,000.
10,000 times 4, right?
Much, yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him.
Millions of angels. How does he know everything that's going on? It's simple. He's got angels every day in the room now, right? They report back. Go ahead.
The judgment was set and the books were opened. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body
destroyed. Just say till what?
Till the beast was slain.
The beast was slain and the body destroyed. Read.
And his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
The thermonuclear missiles. Go ahead.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away.
They already had their dominion. The Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks. This is the Romans, right? Go ahead.
Yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time.
Meaning they've been here the whole time, but they just don't have power. Right? Go ahead.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
Here comes Yahushua riding a chariot up to his pops. Go ahead.
And came to the Ancient of Days. And they brought him near before him.
Read on.
And there was given him dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion,
Go ahead.
which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
So this little horn is going to be reigning when Yahushua would conquer it and come into power. So this is again how we notice America. This is that last stand. If it's not America, again, this means we're going into another captivity. See, how are we going to even last that? right? That don't even make sense. See what I'm saying? So this Babylon, this horn, this whore, this other beast is what's going to be in power when Yahushua takes the throne. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It's just a quick point. And like when we just got done reading in Revelation 17, and it says kind of the same thing in Isaiah 47. It said that the beast, the saints were in this place. We're in Babylon, letting you know.
That's why she's drunk with their blood. Yeah.
Exactly, because she's drunk with their blood in Revelation 17, letting you know that the Israelites would be in this place. So it's in the end times, this place has to rule, and the Israelites have to be there.
Okay.
So if we're the Israelites, this has to be Babylon.
Okay.
And if this is Babylon, the Israelites have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things cannot be separated.
So it's all one thing.
Exactly.
And also, now what plugs in with that point, piggybacking off that point, silverbacking on that point. Never a pig ever in my whole life.
Charlotte interweb.
Yeah. let me get this precept, Jeremiah 50 and 33. Again, if we're the Israelites, this has to be Babylon. If this is Babylon, we have to be the Israelites. In Jeremiah 50 and 33, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. If we the Israelites, if blacks or Hispanics, not even both are Israelites,
right,
it's got to be Babylon. But if blacks or Hispanics are the Israelites, then blacks or Hispanic, black and Hispanic have to be Israelites, because both kingdoms were here getting oppressed together in Babylon. All this stuff go together through the Spirit of the Most High, right? Go ahead. Back to where was that, Daniel?
No, you said all the way to 14.
You read 14?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to yeah, you got it. Second Ezra
6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first in the beginning of that which followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows.
See that? When Jacob takes over, Esau is going to be in power. So this lets us know what? The Edomites would be who's running Mystery Babylon. Exactly. Right? And who runs America? See, but this is the problem. This is what the Ron Daltons of the world don't understand. Prophecy, which is the actual word of God, trumps any and everything. Yep. Trumps any source, any history. It trumps any so-called science falsely so-called, etc. You know why? Because he said it, and it's going to be evidently true, right? And it's evidently true. Who the Edomites are, what Babylon is, who the Israelites are, etc. Go ahead.
Lamentations 4 and 21, and this just goes to show you how intertwined Edom and Babylon are.
That's right.
I mean, this is not even a tip
of the
iceberg.
One, and then Psalms 137 right after that.
It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee." And notice the type of symbolism that it gives in Revelation, especially concerning Babylon.
It says the cup shall be passed to you, meaning you pass the cup around.
Exactly.
You gonna get the cup too, though. You've been having fun passing the cup around.
Yep.
You're gonna get the cup too, Salakia.
Which is why it also says in Jeremiah, I think 25, it says, "Behold, I begin to bring evil upon the city which is called by my name, and art thou he that shall go, or she that shall go utterly unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished." It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt make thyself naked." How does Edom make itself naked? Revelation 17 and 16. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, and shall make her naked and utterly burn her with fire. The white man's going to take himself out. That's right. Which goes back to, what is that Leviathan, the snake that's swallowing. It's not Leviathan, is it? It's
Leviathan,
It is? Okay.
Leviathan, how he's depicted throughout art in the Middle Ages.
And then here's the point, though, too, because that was good in verse 21, but verse 22 says, "The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion," meaning the time that we're punished for our sins, which also can be called the time of the Gentiles. "O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins." So we'll be in captivity. One verse says in the last days we're going to be in captivity in Babylon. Another verse says we're going to be in captivity to the Edomites. Is that a contradiction? No. It just means the Edomites are going to be ruling in Babylon, and we're going to be in captivity to them. That's it. So now let me get Psalm 137. Psalm chapter 137. This Bible's super new. I'm not used to it. It's all fancy and stuff. Psalm 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. It's the same type of language. Babylon and Edom always being synonymous with one another, which is why with Psalm 137, when it says, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, the Edomites were there going back to, the destruction of the first temple. They were there supporting the Babylonians. Then they came under the Romans. And
did it they
damn self. Now it's like those two things coming together. The first temple, they were there to destroy. The second temple, they destroyed it. So now the third, they're not going to destroy the third temple. Okay. But now, in these days, they're
trying to destroy us, the spiritual temple.
There you go.
Right. Let's go to Daniel 2:31. We're gonna read 31 to 45. I'm just gonna go in more on it. We're gonna beat this dead horse.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 31. It says, "O thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thigh of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay." And notice though, y'all, and the image is like an image of a man. That's what it is. And from the head all the way down, it starts as gold, and then it gets into lesser
inferior metals, lesser metals, less precious metals.
Mm-hmm. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Who knows, what does it mean? It says a stone was cut out without the hands and smote the image. What's the stone? Okay, what does it mean to smite? Okay, so this stone destroyed the image. What's the stone that destroyed the image? Are we going to take up a slingshot and start hurling stones? So what's the stone that smote the image? You want? Okay, we'll see. It says, "Thou sawest till a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces." Now, it's going to tell you the interpretation of the dream. So, this is the statue. The statue of Daniel 2 is the same thing as Daniel 7.
Gotcha.
When it gives the four beasts, it just gives it in the form of a statue in Daniel 2. Go ahead.
Would it be the bomb? The atomic bomb
I mean, no, the stone is Yahushua. Yeah, that's why.
But yeah, so it's destroying the statue, right? So the statue is symbolic of the new Roman Empire, the old and new Roman Empire. So not just specifically America. See what I'm saying?
That's why it smote it on its feet, because the feet is going to be what's ruling in the last days. Because it's
the lowest part.
Yeah, exactly. It says, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. I mean, dust sweep it away. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
Meaning the government of Israel, the Masharai Yasharala, is going to conquer the earth, right? Go ahead.
And that's why it says in Revelation 11:15, the kingdoms of this earth are become our lords and his Christ. Okay, this verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
The great prophet Daniel is coming with the breakdown, right? Go ahead.
Thou, O king.
Mind you, just background. He has a dream, right? Yeah, he has a dream, and Oh, that's just the fireworks. That's just the fireworks. Yeah, it's just whistling though. That kind of sounded funny as hell, right? But he has a dream, and he needs the interpretation of his dream, right? But he doesn't remember his dream. If y'all remember, he don't even remember what he dreamed. So when Daniel came and told him the vision and then broke it down, and nigga, that's what got Daniel so much favor, because literally he didn't remember his dream. He just knew he had an ill dream, and somebody needed to figure it out, and could none of his Babylonian magicians figure it out. It took a prophet of God, right? Go ahead.
They start lying and just making
stuff up, and he knew they're full of it. But here's Daniel. He's got the breakdown. Go ahead.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory.
This is Nebuchadnezzar. And we're going to do a breakdown on Nebuchadnezzar soon. I might try to bring it out tomorrow, if not in coming weeks. Nebuchadnezzar. And understanding Nebuchadnezzar, and how Esau, because of course this is Babylon, he runs it, so he's the modern day Nebuchadnezzar, right? But how he operates is not in individuals. They run this thing through smoke screen. They prop up figureheads like a Donald Trump or whoever they want to put up in there, but they as a collective behind the scenes rule their kingdom, right? So they are collectively. There's not no one white man that just is the ruler, because Esau they'll just knock you off. You the one dude, they'll knock you off and put somebody else up in there. Exactly. So that 1%, they collectively are running things. Ain't no one of them running things. They're doing it together. So they are together, Nebuchadnezzar. We're gonna go into that. So I went into it before. I want to go into it again. It's been on my spirit. We're gonna go into that. But this original Nebuchadnezzar, out of all the heathens that have ever ruled, none greater than Nebuchadnezzar. Right? This Cushite had the greatest kingdom, the greatest power, the most glory, next to an Israelite of anybody, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Babylonian Empire had 2 of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
And would have had more if the Lord didn't take it into Monarchy out. Right, go ahead.
It says, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thy hands.
Meaning Babylon was controlling the earth. Go ahead.
And hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold.
You are the greatest of all the kings of the heathen that will ever reign and rule in your kingdom. Read.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass.
So the Medo-Persians were inferior to the Babylonians. Right? Go ahead.
Which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
Read on.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things.
Right, because weaponry is typically made out of iron, not brass and gold and silver. It's made out of iron, right? And I'm slinging iron. He's got that pistol, right? Even to this day, it's made out of iron, right? Go ahead.
And as iron,
so that's showing you how the white man's kingdom as Rome is just what it's just about killing people, right? Read that part again.
It says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise."
That's it. Rome came on the scene to just destroy people. The white man came in power to destroy. Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron.
So then once you get to the bottom of that kingdom, which the feet and toes, how many toes you got? 10. Remember it was 10. You see what I'm saying? So you get to them feet and it's part clay. It's not even all iron now. It's part clay and part iron. It ain't even metal no more. That's how low he wants you to look at this kingdom. And this is Rome. And everybody knows, all scholars agree to talking about the Roman Empire. And America springs from the Roman Empire, right? It may not take it that far, but it don't take rocket science to know this. So what God is saying about the white man's empire and white people is how low they are. They're the feet, and they're not even strong. All they do is kill iron, but then the rest of them is weak. Clay. See what I'm saying? He's really disrespecting Esau right here, right? Go ahead.
It says, part of potter's clay and part of iron. The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest.
So they're divided, but they still have military might, right? Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay.
42, go ahead.
That's you read verse 42?
Yeah, we're reading. Yeah, we're reading into 45.
Okay.
Mhm.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Uh-huh.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Uh-huh.
For they shall not cleave one to another,
Uh-huh.
even as iron is not mixed with
See
clay.
that? So they have gone around, like I said, it says that they shall mix themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another. So they're trying to come in with this oneness of Babylon, right? And this everybody's one thing. But people won't still cleave one to another, right? It's still racism, even though they're trying to see Babylon. They really didn't have racism. Everybody really was like, yeah, we're all going to be this one people. Still racism. That's why they're not cleaving one to another. Right? Go ahead.
It says, verse 44, and in the days of these kings,
in those days,
the
toes, when that Roman Empire, that revised Roman Empire was on the scene, that earlier part of the foot, that was that ancient Roman Empire, right? But now we're in the toes. We're in what we're in now, right? Go ahead.
Shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom,
which America springs out of course. Go ahead.
Which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
It's going to be given to the Israelites. Read.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Israel going to destroy that under Hamashiach Yahushua, that saith the Most High. That's what's going on, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought this is totally off topic, but the Trinity is crazy to me. Okay, so where does God live? Heaven. Okay, who's the God of heaven? The Father. Okay, so what are we talking about? For verse 45, for as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold.
We're going to conquer the whole world. Go ahead.
The great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
Sure, right? So just the whole breakdown on how it was going to be all these kingdoms, and then Rome was going to come, but we've drawn the parallels on how America springs out of Rome, and how that was going to be in power when Yahushua came. That was going to be that last kingdom, that last empire before Hamashiach came, right? Before the kingdom of the Lord was established on earth. It's all coming out of Rome, right? So now let's go to Revelation 13. Go ahead.
So that statue in Daniel is so important when it comes to the kingdom of.
It sums up the whole earth.
Right.
It sums up nearly 3,000 years
and it goes
of time.
Top,
almost 3,000 years of history is in this vision, and it's indisputable because even the what's the latest date they got on Daniel? Like 300? It has to be because it's in the Septuagint. So if you see Daniel indisputably, even if you say, oh, y'all tried to backdate Daniel, we see Daniel in the Septuagint. That's 300 BC, right? Rome is not a world power at that point, but everybody, all the scholars agree this is talking about Rome. So how did we know? How did Prophet Daniel know that Rome was going to be the last kingdom, the last empire in power before God would send his son, right? The Son of Man, right? To destroy it. How did he know that? Centuries before, at least about 1.5, 2 centuries before Rome even rises into prominence at all. And then everything that we live in now is Roman, right? Who's familiar with the legal system? Who's ever heard of the term jurisprudence? Jurisprudence is a legal term. That's Latin. What about habeas corpus? You see what I'm saying? That's Latin. Who spoke Latin? Romans. Why do we still utilize this terminology? Because that's how much influence it has over this culture and society we're in now. That's that beast, that red dragon that they come from. So they make everyone worship the beast. Everybody pays homage to Rome in one way or another. Roman numerals. You go to the Capitol building of every goddamn capital in this country. What does it look like? It's got Roman columns. See what I'm saying? So all of this comes from Rome. This country. What is one of the number one things that drives this country? What's one of the number one forms of entertainment in this country that invigorates sports, invigorates people? Colosseums. This all comes from Rome. This is this whole society we live in is Rome, right? How did Daniel know? How did Daniel know? I'll tell you. God told him. There's no other explanation. There's no other way. There's no denying this Bible at this point. You live it every day, you idiot. How do you not see it? The only way you're not seeing it is the Lord blinded you, officer.
No, just to let me back off that point. What do they call NFL players? Modern day?
Yeah.
Gladiators. Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't know if this is true, King, but isn't it true back in them days, to both y'all points, when they always wanted the people not to know what was really going on, that's how, isn't that how the Roman game?
They distracted with that entertainment.
That's right.
There was that distraction.
Right.
Just like now, it'll distract you. And it's not even a secret, it's distracting. A lot of our people, it's during the lockdown, we're like, we just want sports back. Because if you can get all caught up in sports, you can forget everything else that's going on. You're not going to give so much thought to everything else because, you know, you're focused on your team. Right. You see what I'm saying? And you can follow your team. You can wear it. You see what I'm saying? It'll distract. If you allow it, it'll distract you. And again, some people are actually looking for that distraction. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's crazy, but this all comes from Rome. The Bible.
Yeah, just let me back off that point. You remember when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, they got mad at him because they said they used sports as a distraction,
and you took the issues and nobody can be distracted from it.
That's what they was mad at him about.
You know, it's clear. It's clear what's going on, right? Yeah. Very clear what's going on. This whole place is crazy, right? And the Lord told us all about it before we even got here. How great of a Lord is He? Revelation 13, all praises. Starting at the top, we're gonna go through all this. Go ahead. Let's go all this, and I'm passing over to Dallas. Go ahead.
Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea.
Read on.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So here's this beast. This beast is the same as those feet. This beast is the same as that beast in what is that? Daniel 7 we read? Yes, Daniel 7. Right? Go ahead.
And having and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads
so them 10 horns with the 10 crowns, those represent the European common markets. So out of those 7 original kingdoms, again, Britain, Germania Major, Germania Minor, France, Rome, Spain, Greece, out of those 7 came all the countries that we now know to be Europe. Belgium come out of France. You got the Netherlands that come out of Germany. You know, all them little countries, Luxembourg, like, you know, stuff like that. All of them come out of those original 7, those 10 that spring up out of there. So it's just talking about Europe, right? Western Europe, though, not the Baltic states, damn Scandinavia and Russia. And ain't talking about them. It's talking about Western Europe, where you get white supremacy from, right? Go ahead.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Read on.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
So the beast is like unto a leopard. So this beast, which is the Western European, is like unto a leopard, right? Who can does anybody know what like unto a leopard means? No. That is in Daniel. That is referred to in Daniel. Not here. You want to right track, wrong train. When it says he likened to, he's describing this beast, right? A leopard haunts by stalking his prey, right? That's how Esau is. They stalk their prey, right? Keep reading.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
His feet were as the feet of the bear. When you read in Daniel, when he talks about the beast, it talks about he stamped with his feet that residue. That's that ferocity like a bear's paw where they can claw somebody. It's describing the nature of this beast. So it stalks you. It's ferocious. It'll tear you apart. Read.
In his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
Because it roars. It talks big stuff, right? That's this. It's describing a beast. Some people break it down. The lion is Britain, and the bear is Russia, and the leopard is Greek. No. It's describing the attributes of the beast, how the beast is, how the Western European Edomite white man functions in his murderous behavior, stalking you, tearing you to shreds, and taunting you with the great words of blasphemy, great swelling words, as we read about. Right? Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power.
The what?
The dragon
Gave him his power. He's empowered from Rome. He learned about what his ancestors did in Rome and redid it. Firearm, not a firework. Go ahead.
It's like a whole bunch of
Yeah, that's a chopper or something. Go ahead.
Yeah. And his seat and great authority.
And he basically they modeled themselves after Rome. They had the Senate, all those various things. They modeled themselves after that dragon, right? Go ahead.
And great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wounds was healed.
The Roman Empire was reborn, right? Go ahead.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
What verse you at?
Verse 3.
Salakia. Okay, and all the world wondered after the beast. Everybody looks at white people wondrously. Again, specifically Western European. People aren't looking at the Russians wondering at them. They look at the white man of Western Europe, and everybody wants to be like him and follow his standards. And they think he's got it all figured out. Read.
And I saw verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast.
They worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. The Roman Empire. That's everything I just talked about with the legal terms. They do it in the medical field, in the field of botany, the Colosseum, etc. It's all set up like Rome. They worship that dragon. Go ahead.
Saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?
Meaning, can't nobody mess with that NATO and that EU power. Nobody. Right? Go ahead.
And there was given unto him
again. This ain't talking about America yet. This is just talking about Western Europe, and America comes out of this. So this is applicable to America, but not exclusive to America, because this is what America's born from. Right? It ain't start talking about Babylon yet. Right? Read.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
So Salakia, read that part again.
And he in blasphemies, and power was given
unto
him.
What verse?
5. To continue 40.
Okay, go ahead.
To continue 42 months.
Start at 5.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things.
That mouth speaking great things. Again, when you read about that lion, that's the mouth speaking great things. That's all it means. Go ahead.
And blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
42 months. Hold that. Revelation 11:11. What is 42 months? What is this power that was given back to the beast? Again, the beast comes back to life. When does the beast come back to life? What's the time? There's that time period is called something in academia. What is that time period called? The Renaissance. In the Renaissance, the deadly wound was healed and Rome comes back. Then they're given power after they come back into life. For 42 months. What's 42 months? 3.5 years. Read.
Revelation 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
What's that? What is that talking about? It's talking about something very specific. One West, 1969. 350 years from 1619 is 1969. The truth come out, right? So it says after what time? Read that again.
After 3.5 days.
3.5 days. 3.5 days, a day for a year. 42 months. All that is the same thing. 12,300 and 12,303 score days. All that's the same period. 42 months, 3.5 days, 3.5 years, 350 years. It's all prophetically talking about the same time period. So what it's saying is, from the time we went into slavery up until the truth came out, they were given absolute power. The Western Europeans. That's when France is conquering the earth. That's when Britain is conquering the earth. America is born, conquer the earth. Spain conquer the earth. Portugal conquers the earth. Right? Read that verse again, 13 and 5.
Revelation 13:5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2
He was
months.
just going around the earth doing his thing for that 350 years. And he's done it. He was started a little bit before then and has done it since then. But that absolute power of just the Western European white people, that happened in that 350 years, right? Keep going.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
That's right. Go ahead. And what happened? Something key happened in the midst of this 350 years, right? What's one of the one that Hassad pertains to blasphemy of the name, the tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven?
In the midst of 350 years.
That happened in between 1619 and 1969. It's there's a precept right here in Revelations. I want you to think about that word blasphemy. And I want you to think about the book of Revelations and think what can parallel to this. You back to sleep?
I'm just gonna put my
Think about the word blasphemy. It's not hard.
just slavery.
You said what?
Slavery.
No. Blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. It's very simple. What did they do in between 1619 and 1969? Son?
Oh, 1619 and 1969.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the time period.
Yeah.
Let me take a look in the chat. They got it in the chat. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Sean Foster, the Synagogue of Satan, the Balfour Declaration, 1948. They said they're the Jews. These niggas aren't. They said the temple was something it wasn't. Right? They started calling God Hashem and Yahweh. Right? So again, opened his mouth to blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle. Said the temple was somewhere it wasn't. And then to dwell in heaven. Said the Israelites were somebody then they weren't. Right? That's what they did in that time. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations.
When did this happen again? And power was given to him to continue 42 months. And it was given him to make war with the saints. Over that 42 months, he took you into slavery. Right? He fought wars in the Americas, wars in West Africa, took us into slavery, make war with the saints to overcome them, for us to lose, which we lost. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And over that course of time, not only did they enslave us, they conquered and ruled the whole earth. Over between 1619 and 1969, that all happened, right? Go ahead.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship, him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
And everybody that's not of the elect, they're gonna bow down to that white man. Period. Go ahead.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Read on.
He that leadeth into captivity.
It's so important, this verse. When you read all this leading up to this and understand what's going on, that this verse doesn't make any sense unless what we're saying is the breakdown for the rest of this. Why all of a sudden is it talking about captivity? Because war was made with us and we were taken into captivity. Other than that, if the breakdown that we're giving right here is not the breakdown to this, then randomly they're talking about captivity. And what's interesting, in Bible translations, a lot of them have indicators for context changes. There's not one here. You got one? It's not one here, right? It's talking about it's all in the same context, right? So why is captivity being talked about? Because when it said it was giving him to wage war with the saints were taken into captivity. Slavery. This whole time period is slavery. 1619 to 1969. What's going on? Slavery and Jim Crow that whole time, right? That's why it says he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's the importance of the context of this. Everything, a lot of times we cut Esau on the streets. We just hit this verse. But that foundation that's built for before this, it just brings so much more truth and validity to it in the spirit of the Most High. Keep going.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
He murdered you. He enslaved you. Patiently and faithfully as the saints wait, you're going to do the same thing to him. This whole chapter is about he was given power to murder and enslave you, but don't worry, you're going to get the same power over him from God, right? Keep reading.
And I beheld another beast.
Here's another beast. This is the Western European, because America didn't just take slavery. France, Spain, they all did it, right? Germany had slaves quiet as it's kept. Italy had a little island. Negroes were in slavery on some little island. The Irish, they had so many slaves, the Irish. Don't ever let the Irish lie to you about their slave trade. Oh, we were slaves. No, you're a goddamn liar. They took the slaves to Ireland and sent them to Jamaica. You know why? Because they were black already. They weren't just the regular redhead Irish running around. So black people that were still in Ireland, right?
Oliver Cromwell came in.
The Cromwell, right? But I'm going to tell you something. You know who was instrumental in assisting the French enslaved the Haitian? The Irish.
Yeah, we went.
We went into it. I've once found a Haitian with an Irish name. I said, what is this nigga doing? We don't have McBride, O'Neill. We don't have those names. We got names that these people can't even pronounce. Lazar, what's going on?
John is his name. John.
Jean. Jean.
Jean.
You know, they call me Glade. They call me for so many years. That's my name up, right? Okay. And I said, well, why? And then I researched, and you find out that the Irish had so many Haitians enslaved because they were working with the French and helping the French catch us and bring our ass to Haiti, right? The white man is the devil. Let's keep going.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth,
Mhm.
and he spake, and he had 2 horns like a lamb,
Mhm.
and he spake as a dragon.
So here's this beast. It's the same as that little horn. That little horn had 2 eyes. This beast has 2 horns. It's the same thing. It's that those 2 political parties, right? Go ahead.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast.
He has
before
all
him,
the power of the Roman Empire with that military might and influence, right? America. Read.
and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
So he pays that homage back to Rome and back to Europe, always, right? Read.
Whose deadly wound was healed.
Who's what?
Deadly wound was
Rome
healed.
came back. He makes everybody bow down to Rome, right? Go ahead.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
How did he make fire come down from heaven? Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? America. This is the little horn. This is the whore. This is the other beast, right? All America, all AKA Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. Read.
Fire to come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men,
Mm-hmm.
and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles.
Meaning, because America became so powerful militarily, they've been able to lie and get the world to believe it. They'll believe anything they say out of fear, right? Go ahead.
To do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast,
Mhm.
which had the wound by a sword and did live.
What is the image of the beast? White supremacy. All that comes with it, right? White supremacy is such a complex thing. It's not just the lighter you are, the better you are. It's not just that. That's first level, base level. It goes even further. The exaltation of pseudoscience in the world, that these white scientists can come out and say anything based upon a theory or very little evidence, and it has to be accepted as truth. That's the image of the beast. When you deal with that term image in the Greek, it's icon. Icon means a golden standard, meaning everybody is holding, the white man is the standard for everybody. Everybody follows that standard. Whatever he says is true, and we have to, assimilate to that. That's what the image of the beast is, right? Go ahead. So people said image of the beast is Caesar Borgia. He's a part of that, because through etching Caesar Borgia into everybody's head, you think of the white man as God, right? But it far surpasses Caesar Borgia, because you don't have to believe in Jesus at all to be conformed to white supremacy, right? To have white supremacy as your standard. Hold that, Romans 8:29.
Romans 8:29. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son.
So everybody else who's not written in the book of life, they're conformed to the image of the beast. Their standard is the white man. To us, we're conformed to the image. We're Lord willing, if we the elect, whoever the elect is conformed to the image of Yahushua, right? Meaning Yahushua is your standard. That's who we look to, and we pattern our lives after to strive to be like him. Everybody else, they want to be like the white man in one way or another, right? Go ahead, back to Revelation.
Revelation 13, pick back up at 14, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
See that? Any that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's that enforcement. They did that when you didn't bow to Caesar Borgia, they would kill you. That's back in that time, right? Go ahead. You wouldn't worship Christianity. You wouldn't get down with them. They would kill you. Now they get it to where if you don't conform to white supremacy in its various ways, you'll be ostracized, right? Go ahead.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
So America's going to come with that mark. We know that's the implantable microchip device, radio frequency identification device. right? Which this shot is likely the precursor to, right? Stay away from the shot. Don't take the shot. I'm not saying the shot is the mark. What I'm saying is it's the precursor, right? If you take this shot, you'll definitely take that chip. I know you will, right? Go ahead.
Only shots we take are jump shots and Patron shots. Versus,
You feel me?
17.
Do you take half court shots, or do you like your shots close range? You like slam dunks, or you like
Brother,
half
as soon
court
as I
shots?
step in that gym, I'm within range.
There you-
All right, brother.
I like it. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
So if you don't get this mark will be the new financial standard. So without conforming to that financial standard, you're not going to be able to engage in commerce, make purchases, sell. You know, we all do it now. Somebody came on a comment board, bro, and said, made a comment on the Voice of God video, right? And they said something about a 501c3, and this dude said, SICARRI has a 501c3. A lie, no, we don't. But then they said, I mean, come on, look at this guy. He sells shirts. What do you else say? He said, I got music videos, I sell shirts. And I said, damn, like, you know how easy it is right now for anybody to sell t-shirts? You don't need any t-shirts. You just literally virtually upload a design and somebody will print it for you and send it if somebody buys it. That's how the business model works. Guess what? If you don't got that chip, that's going to be out. As easy as that is now, see, they've got us so accustomed to convenience that when they switch over to standard, you're literally going to be essentially committing suicide when you say, no, I'm not taking that step to that next standard. All the rest of those standards were fine. When you put the damn chip in my credit card, that was cool. As soon as you say you want to put it in me, I'm not going to allow you to do that. Now, okay, well, you're totally cut out of the financial market. All that stuff that you so easily did and the way you so easily made money is done right now. That's gonna make a lot of people go, I mean, damn, just sign me up. You know what I mean? You feel me? Yeah. It's a greenback. Come on, bro. Niggas ain't got, bro. When the last time anybody seen me with a greenback? It's swiping a card. Why? Why would you have all that cash on you? Number one, in Atlanta, these homeless are so aggressive. You don't want to have any cash because they're gonna get it from you. They're gonna get it from you, but they can't get it from you, Debak, if you don't have any, and it's on a card. Because they silly asses ain't signed up for Cash App yet. That's right. What's your Cash App? Hassad asked him. To come out. See what I'm saying? You're gonna need that.
Bitcoin about to hit 30,000.
And here's the thing about Bitcoin. If the white man want to do away with Bitcoin, he can do away with it in any time. Yeah. And now that $30,000 Bitcoin you got is nothing. But now you got to conform. You could trade your Bitcoins and change them for the new American digital currency standard. Right? See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Revelation 13:17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Right, which is 666, right? The number that, see, Mystery Babylon is the name. People said, I heard somebody break down the name of the beast is Lucifer. No, the name is already identified. We already read it in 17. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, which when you take a look and you add up the numerical value of all those Hebrew characters, it's 666. Right, 306 square and 6, which it very plainly says verbatim also in Revelations. Go ahead.
Yeah, no disrespect to brothers who believe that this is simply dealing with philosophy, but it just doesn't make sense. It says that no one can buy or sell, so you're not going to be able to buy or sell, save he that had the mark, unless you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist. How is that you go to the store? How are they going to determine whether or not you're a Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist? Just okay, are you a Christian? You can just lie, can't you?
I would.
Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6.
666. Get a precept?
No, Zechariah 13.
Oh, yeah, get that. And the reason why the beast number is 603 score and 6 is because that is the percentage of Israelites that are going to be conformed to the image of the beast in this place, right? And it's key because it talks about in all the land. It's talking about America. That whole concept is talking about America, and the beast number, which it's America. It's not the first beast, it's the second beast, which is America, who sprang from the first beast, right? Go ahead.
Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried.
So 1/3 of the Israelites here in America are going to be delivered up out of America. But the 2/3 are going to be destroyed in America. Why? Because they're conformed to the image of the beast. Hence, the beast number is 666 or 66.6%.
So that's
I can't.
66 represents the Israelites in America, not all over.
Only America, because it pertains to the land, America, and it pertains to the other beast, which is America, Babylon. Nowhere else. We don't know. We don't have the numbers on the amount of Israelites that are going to be saved throughout the earth, right?
SICARRI.
We are the children of the one Yahweh.
The chosen.
Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given his laws to us. Now everything belongs to us.
Shalom, what's going on? It's your brother, Chief Priest Alazar Lawyer, aka the Gorilla Hebrew, and I'm just letting y'all know I just dropped my official clothing line, Urban Gorilla. Go to urbangorilla.com right now to check us out, man, and pick something up. There's URBNGRLA.com. We got all kind of items for men, women, children, even infants, as well as fragrance oil, smell goods. You can also check out Hebrew Israelite Clothing Co., another Sicarii business, on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can hit up deaconsicari.com to get your plug on the scarves, the music, and the children's Bibles. Thanks for your time. All praise to the Most High. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.